affected most severely by what happened yesterday. In terms of the ongoing safety with the campus, we had an officer at Tower 1 all last night. We've had increased patrols around campus. Those patrols will continue, and the increased police presence at Tower 1 excuse me, will continue for the foreseeable future. In terms of counseling and helping students, we have counselors available to any student on campus who wants to speak to them. Specifically for students in the towers and Towers 1, we have counselors working that building. We had last night counselors on the 3rd floor specifically talking to any student who had a concern that they wanted to share or anything that they needed to talk about. So those resources are available for all of our students. The next thing is dealing specifically with media. We know that there have been a lot of records requests for information made. We are working diligently to fulfill those records requests. We have created a Dropbox for media, and after this, everybody who's emailed us with requests will have email requests from us to join Dropbox, and we'll have every record we have available on that site for you to download and use as you see fit. Much of what you'll see today is on the Dropbox, and you can go and check it out. And if you have any specific questions, let us know. And if you have a concern that you are not on our email list, see me afterwards and we'll talk about that. Next up is the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office provided a statement from the deceased's family. I'd like to read this to you now, and it will also be on our website, the records website. The family of James Oliver Sivakumaran states that James was a loner and did not have a history of violence. The family does not wish to make any further comments to the media, and they are requesting privacy during this difficult time. The latest update that Chief will talk about is that today, in the mail room at the towers, we discovered 2 packages that had been delivered to James on March 12th. Those packages contained weapon-related material, clips, DVDs, and training materials about shooting. Chief will talk about that in a little more detail right now. Chief?
Thank you, Grant. As Grant said, we have continued an active investigation with all our partner agencies, Orange County Sheriff's Office, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FBI, ATF, and the UCF PD. Once again, it's very important for me to say thank you, because we could not have covered as much ground as we've covered in 24 hours without all those agencies assisting. So far, everything that we have uncovered is that the deceased acted alone. We've found no connections to any group, organization, or anybody else that would have shown any involvement in this situation that occurred here at the university. What I would like to do, and again, for some of our students, I know that this is not going to be necessarily easy, but it's important that we release this information so that you know we're giving you everything that we can possibly give you. And also, I hope that by sharing some of this material, maybe our students and viewers will learn, and if they see these things, that they'll contact law enforcement and allow us to find out what is actually going on. Could you, we have a table that we can use? Okay. No, I'll go ahead. I think I'll just go ahead and show them and talk through them, and then we can set them over there. I think that'll probably be the best for all of the people that are trying to do their jobs here. Thank you, Grant. As you heard in the mail room today, we did receive notification that there were packages that had not been picked up. Upon receiving that information from housing, which does a great job of monitoring everything, we dispatched a K-9 unit over there just to make sure that we didn't have any type of explosive devices or any kind of chemicals that we would have concern for. We did then secure those packages and did an inventory of them, and what was in the mail waiting for the deceased were 2 22-round magazines that were designed for the GSG weapon that he had. There was also a Black Hawk tactical sling designed to fit that particular weapon. And there was also a training DVD on proper shooting and use of lasers with this particular weapon. So, Grant, if you'll put those over there, you can have those for display in a few minutes. Also, I will put this photograph up. This is actually a crime scene photo, and this actually shows the gun, and it shows the drum magazine that was with the gun. During our search, not only did we recover this drum, but we also recovered another drum. Those drums are 110 rounds, have a magazine capacity of 110 rounds each. So this is an actual crime scene photograph, and we will make that available for you as well. What I would like to do, and then we'll work into the question phase. What I would like to do is show you a brief video clip. Actually, it's a little more than brief, but one of the things that the university we embarked on a while ago was equipping some of our officers with body-mounted cameras. And during this situation, we had an officer that had one of those cameras. So what I want to show you is actually what it looked like with those officers, and you can see the conditions, you can see the noise, you can see the strobes, and you can see them making entry into the apartment. You'll also see a little bit of difficulty they had, because in any given situation, we have a lot of locks and a lot of keys on campus, and they had to find the right key for the door. So you'll see that, and that's just a reality that we have to deal with, and that every university has to deal with. So if I could we go ahead and cue up the video, please?
Chief, could you just actually have a disclaimer in case any of our viewers are watching right now so they don't see anything?
Can we turn the lights off also so we can see the screen?
Yes, I would if you are doing live shots. I don't think there's going to be anything in here that is overly graphic because of the lighting and the cameras, but it will give you, there's some movement and some violence. So just in quick actions that tactical teams deploy when they're moving.
And this will be available in the Dropbox too for you to use and download as you see fit.
And again, for those viewers that this would cause them grief, I would really recommend that they not watch this video. So if we could, go ahead, and I will try to narrate it a little bit as we go too. You can hear the fire alarm going off and the strobe. This camera is attached to the officers on their head, so you're seeing everything that they see. When they move, you'll see the movement. As I told you, you can see the difficulty trying to find the right key to get in the door. Unfortunately.
Can you go to the microphone, please? Can you hear me?
Sorry. Okay, again, what you'll see is the officer working in the key set, trying to get the door open, and then you'll see them make entry in just a second. Okay, they've made entry. There's the communication that they're going in. See the officer's M4 weapon as he comes in. You can see how quick they're moving. You can see the head movement. They're trying to look for our victims. We're also trying to find anybody else that may be in the apartment. As you can see, they have found the individual has committed suicide, and he's in that room. What you'll see from here is, again, the communication. You see the weapon on the floor right there with the drum magazine. There's the officer, again, clearing the room with his M4 just to make sure that there's no other individuals or any other threat. You can hear the noise, the fire alarm going off, the strobe. Again, this is incredible stress that our employees and every law enforcement officer is under in these kind of situations. They're calling for rescue now to come in and check on the deceased. Actually, I think we could probably stop it there. What you'll see from there is you'll see rescue come in, and then, of course, that rescue's there, and then we begin the investigation. That is a good shot, though, of the weapon on the ground. We go ahead and hit the lights again, please. I know that may be disturbing for a lot of people. It certainly doesn't do anything for me. But I have to tell you, that's what our law enforcement officers do here, and that's what law enforcement officers do every day across this country. Remember, when they went in there, they didn't know what they were going to find on the other side. And again, as I told you yesterday, I've been doing this 35 years, so I got a little bit of experience in tactical operations and deployment. And I just wanted you to see what they did and how they did it. And with that, again, you've got a chance to see where we're at on the updates. Our investigation is continuing. We still have some more interviews to do. And again, our partner agencies have been just wonderful. So, Grant, with that, I guess we'll go ahead and take questions.
Chief, can you describe any more of the notes, what was said in the notes, motive, any of that?
No, there is no motive. The notes, as I talked about yesterday, just lay out a timeline, and that timeline was go to Mad Hatter's, drink, and I will try to make that available as well. But there was no specific threat in it. There was nothing like that. So he just had the timeline. One of the interesting things that we did find, going back over the evidence today, is as he did each thing, he actually scratched them off on the list. So that was, and the list stops with pull the fire alarm.
Grant, how diligently did the university try to evict this person? I heard that his locks were actually changed twice last semester. How is he still informed?
I can tell you, first of all, as we discussed yesterday, we approached this previously with a very compassionate nature for students. Students sometimes may have a difficulty paying, they may have a difficulty at home that prevents them from enrolling, anything like that. So that's our core approach, is to be compassionate. In this instance, it took longer than we wanted to, it took longer than it should, and it's something we're working to correct in the future, absolutely.
But he didn't enroll this semester, right?
That's correct. He had been enrolled continuously from fall of 2010 through fall of 2012. He did not enroll in this spring.
So how did he stay in the dorm until March?
That's something that we're looking into, and when we understand the best way to correct it, we are going to correct it.
What is the process for removing a student who is not paying? What is the typical process?
Process would be that they would be given multiple opportunities to pay and make good, because we're an educational institution and our goal is to have students here to learn. And there are any number of reasons why students may be late on their payments, and as I said, we try to be compassionate, so we're going to give students the benefit of the doubt. I think in this instance it was clear that there was a breakdown along the way, and we're committed to fixing that.
It sounds like he was unprepared for this attack in some ways. His IEDs were unfinished. You had ammo waiting for him to mail. Is there any indication why he decided to go ahead and do this when he did, rather than wait when he was more prepared from his perspective?
No, just pure speculation. I mean, that's all we know is what we have in front of us, and anything else really would be absolute speculation, and I don't see any value in trying to speculate there.
The list that you had for the checklist that you talked about, pull a fire alarm is the last thing. He writes a checklist, he puts a check mark next to it.
He actually would scratch them off as he did them.
Was there anything else below that on that list, or is the threat implied from there?
No, the last thing on the list was give him hell. That was the last thing on the list.
It said give him hell.
Yes, it did. Yes, and we will make that we'll make that available as well. One of the other things that you're going to get, as Grant said, you'll have access to the 911 call. I will tell you, the 911 call, because it was on a cell phone, went to Seminole County Sheriff's Office, and that call got transferred over to UCF. You will notice there is a bit of a delay, and that call, unfortunately, did not get transferred from 911 center to 911 center. It got transferred to our university business line. I've been in contact with the Sheriff's Office, and they are working to correct that so we don't have that situation in the future. Sometimes those things happen with transfers.
Is there a recording or there's no recording?
No, there is a recording of the call that came from Seminole County Sheriff's Office, yes. And that will be in the lockbox that Grant told you would be. If you email him, he will make that available to you.
Question about the video. Is there a separate video that shows the rescue of the roommate?
No, that's the video from that officer's perspective. That was that individual's officer's perspective.
Was there a part of the tape that wasn't shown that shows the rescue of the roommates?
On this one just went into the rescue being there and then crime scene being called and things of that nature.
Chief,
What
can
was
you
some
tell
of
us
the
what was
things he
going on
checked
in his
off?
private life that might have struck a chord with him that made him snap, so to speak?
All the interviews that we have done with the help of the FBI, ATF, and all the other agencies have been consistent. That is, he didn't have any friends. We don't know of any major situation that would have caused him to act that way. They have just been incredibly consistent that he was a loner, and that was his whole demeanor.
And what was the last item on the list that he had checked off? And what was the next one that was going there?
The last one that he actually scratched off was activate the fire alarm. And the last one on his list was give him hell.
And that was the last step.
There was a couple other entries. I don't recall what they are, but we'll make that available to you.
What were the steps he'd already taken? You said
Go to Mad Hatter's, get drunk, some other things like that. Again, I don't remember the exact details, but I will make those available for you.
Students are worried about the recent trend in suspicious packages. What grants a package being suspicious? And have you received certain information that has led you to believe the recent random objects found on campus were in fact a danger to the public?
No. Unfortunately, every campus in this country deals with the same thing. Unfortunately, we have this incredible mix that we are responsible for. We are an educational institution, and there's a lot of people with backpacks and bags, and a lot of young people. And on the same token, we also have to be concerned, like everybody else, about homeland security and suspicious packages and devices. So unfortunately, it's kind of cyclical. We'll run a while where we won't have any, and then we'll have some back to back. We also find that any time that there is some type of event that happens that raises the consciousness, our calls for suspicious packages go up. And I will tell you, they're difficult for us, they're difficult for the faculty and the staff because they create disruption, but we have to take those on a case-by-case basis, and we try to look at the facts, and we try to do what is going to keep our students, our faculty, and our staff safe. And that's how we gauge it. Every situation is different, and we have to weigh those and weigh the public safety factor, and then that's how we determine how we move forward.
Grant, was he given a move-out date? There are rumors swirling that this week was his deadline to leave campus.
I'm not sure if he got a move-out date, but I'll look into that and find out and let you know.
Where was the roommate barricaded in relation to what we just saw?
The roommate was at the room at the end of the, towards the end of the hall is where he was at. He was not able to actually, he was concerned if he tried to run out that he would have to pass the suspect's door, so he did not want to do that.
So adjoining bedrooms, but side by neighboring bedrooms.
Yes, correct.
At the end of the same hall.
Correct.
Do you know what
Yes.
was on the TV in his room? Was that a secure, I mean, could they see through their TVs some security cameras out there? It almost looked like police officers going in somewhere.
I have not analyzed it to see what was on the TV screen. I really don't know. I don't know.
Chief, any idea how long he actually was at that bar and how intoxicated he may have been when this happened?
We, some of our partner agencies did some interviews, and we did confirm he was there. We are not sure how much alcohol he consumed, and the preliminary autopsy does not give us the toxicology reports, so we'll probably have that in the future of what his actual blood alcohol was.
Chief, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but I just want to make sure you feel he could have acted completely alone. You feel like his roommates had no idea what he was doing, stockpiling ammo, anything. They were just as surprised as everybody else.
Absolutely. The roommates made that very clear. There was never any outward indication, no indicators. They never saw him with ammunition. They never saw him with a weapon. They did not see magazines. They did not see any of the materials that he ended up possessing.
Can you confirm that he was still working at Kyoto during all this, or?
I can't confirm that. I don't know. We know that he had been employed there. I don't know what his employment status was yesterday.
Those packages were picked up today or
The guns
yesterday?
were purchased in the Orlando area. Do you know when he bought the guns?
From what I have learned through the investigation is he actually bought the guns on the internet and then had to send them to a federal firearms dealer here in Central Florida, and then he actually picked them up at the firearms dealer here in Central Florida. Our partners at ATF are currently still working those aspects, but that's what I know so far. Yes, sir, you had a question?
The packages were found, the packages waiting for him were found yesterday or today?
The packages were found today. They actually arrived on the 12th, but he had not picked them up. And after yesterday's incident, we got a phone call that there were packages at the post office, and we actually went and picked those up.
So you can get clips mailed to yourself, but you can't get the weapon itself mailed to yourself?
That is correct. That's correct.
If the massacre was planned to go down last night, why do you think he hadn't picked up all that supplies from the mailroom?
Can't answer that. Again, that would be speculation. I have no idea why he didn't pick those up.
Is there any evidence that he had gone anywhere around the area to practice shooting these weapons? Have you heard across anything like that?
Actually, we have had people at firearms ranges, almost every gun dealer in Central Florida, and we're trying to track down all those leads to find out if that had occurred. We do know that one thing we can document is an ammunition purchase of the .45 caliber ammunition, and that was at Shoot Straight in Castleberry. That we do know. Other than that, that's still under investigation.
Mr. Heston, this guy was 30 years old. Is there any age limit for which housing is available for students?
No, that would be age discrimination, and that's not something that's permissible. I can tell you it's not common. I think we have about 40 students who live on campus who are 25 years or older.
Again, I know that you touched on this, but just to be clear, you're saying that in your investigation, you're seeing no hint of what his motive might have been?
Correct. There's no manifesto. There's no documentation. We are still with our partners. We're currently in the process of analyzing his computer. There's a lot of data on that. Something that might give us an indication, but thus far we have not uncovered anything that would give us a motive or a rationale.
Was there actual ammunition in that package?
No, there was no ammunition in the package. The ammunition that we recovered was in his apartment. There was no ammunition in the mail whatsoever.
Who was he out drinking with? Did he go to the Mad Hatter with somebody?
All indications are, just like the rest of his life, he was alone.
Chief, do you know if there were any other packages that he might have received before the incident that had gone through housing?
That we're not sure of. We're trying to track that down, but that's a difficult task, trying to go back and backdate. But we are looking at that angle to see if we can tie anything else in.
Chief, all this evidence kind of seems to suggest that he had this plan, that he wanted this list. Is it just as possible that he really never had any intention of doing what it all kind of appears to be, and it might be some sort of sick joke?
I don't think so. I don't think that you acquire 210-round magazines and numerous 22 capacity magazines, and that you purchase 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and that you purchase the .45 ammunition. I don't think you just do that as a joke. I've never seen that happen as a joke.
There were several bomb threats in the university in the past few weeks. Any indication they could be related to this?
Actually, there are no documented bomb threats in the last few weeks here at the university. We did have a couple of suspicious packages that we investigated, but there was no bomb threats here at the university.
And Chief, just to confirm, the packages you discovered today were not picked up in the mailroom?
That is correct, yes.
And clarify what was in those packages today.
What was in the packages today are everything that you see on the table over here. The tactical sling, the training video, and 2 22-round magazines for the GSG weapon.
How much total ammunition did he have? 1,000 rounds?
Approximately 1,000 rounds. We don't have the final count yet. That evidence was collected by the Orange County Forensics Unit, but approximately 1,000 rounds is a pretty safe approximation.
Do they have security cameras that they could monitor from their TVs in their apartments?
No, they do not have access to those systems.
Did the roommates ever complain about him?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Again, their statements were very consistent that he was a loner, but was never a threat, didn't like to talk to people, but it wasn't a big deal.
And Chief, how did he come to live with those other roommates in the first place? Do you know? Was it just a potluck situation, or had they had any friendship before that?
There's no friendship that I'm aware of. How that happens with housing, I'm really not familiar with, but there is no indication that there was a friendship and they requested to be there together. There's no indications of that whatsoever.
Chief, let me ask you something, but there are also exterior security cameras around Tower 1, and are those recorded? In other words, would there be video that shows him entering Tower 1 at some point?
Yes, there is. We are currently analyzing all that. We did confirm that is some of the items that we used to make sure there was no one else involved. And the security footage shows him coming in the side door. Again, it's a very difficult shot because of the way the camera angles are, but we actually see him walk out, pull the fire alarm, and go back into his room. So we did use those security cameras to rule out involvement from anybody else in the situation.
So the obvious question, particularly from the television people here, is that going to be in the Dropbox?
That probably will eventually be. Again, there's a lot of data, and understand how those systems work. There's a lot of cameras. So what we have to do is try to segregate that information. Our students certainly deserve some privacy, and I don't think they deserve a total dump of all those camera feeds. So we will try to narrow that down and provide that to you. But again, understand that is very manpower intense. We'll try to get that. We're only 24 hours into this, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my 35 years experience, we've covered an incredible amount of ground in 24 hours, and we will continue to work and provide as many answers as we can.
Sir, between the time that the suspect points the gun at his roommate and the time that he kills himself, you might have answered this yesterday, I wasn't here. How much time elapsed?
Well, we really don't know. I mean, we don't have a specific time. We don't know when that transpired. Again, with the alarms going off and the noise, we just don't know exactly when that had occurred. Don't know.
Was there any indication that he was working with anybody based on the guns, clothes he was wearing, the type of bullets he was buying, or being shipped to him?
Nothing whatsoever. No tie-ins, no correspondence, nothing like that to indicate there was anybody else involved at all.
And I went in Tower 1 last year. What sort of security changes do you maybe anticipate as far as dorm life?
Well, one of the things that I like to do as a chief of police is I don't like to give away all my security secrets. So we'll talk about that offline, or when you see some changes, we'll talk about it. I don't think that would be very wise on my behalf to talk about our security plans, but thank you.
Are you going to put an approximate value as to how much all of this costs, all the guns, the ammo, all that stuff? You guys deal with firearms a lot?
We're talking about, just with the 2 guns that he purchased, probably about $700 just for the guns. The magazines, I don't know what the price of those is currently. They've become very difficult to get, so I imagine the price has gone up. But my guess is, with everything, we're probably in the neighborhood of close to $900 to $1,000. Again, ballpark. I'm not an expert on ammunition expense.
Chief, do we know if his roommate heard the gunshot when he was locked in the bathroom?
During the telephone call, he indicated he heard a couple of pops. He wasn't sure what that was, and that's all we know.
A couple of pops, there was only one shot there.
That is correct. Correct. The medical examiner did confirm there was only one .45 caliber round that was expended. Yes.
Are his parents cooperative?
Oh, absolutely, and heartbroken, naturally.
Okay. Good. Well, I just want to conclude by saying thank you again for being here, and thank you for your patience through what is obviously a very difficult time for UCF. I'll say again that our main focus is on the safety of the campus, which is a safe campus. Chief and his officers keep it very safe, and when you look at data historically, UCF is a safe place to live and work. We're also focused on fulfilling our public records request and trying to help you. I want to make clear what Chief said. Most of what you've seen here today will be available in the Dropbox. The 911 call from Seminole that went into Seminole County will be available. The transfer, since it went to a non-911 call here, it went to the business line. We're having difficulty getting that. And I'll be candid, I'm not sure that is going to be recoverable, or that it was even recorded. However, when dispatchers take the 911 call, they enter with time-stamped notes exactly what they're hearing and what they're saying. And so that 19-page report will be available in the Dropbox this evening.
So the 911, in particular, 911 call and the checklist that you elaborated on, when do you expect those to be in the Dropbox?
Seminole County 911 call should be available this afternoon. The checklist we're going to have to work on, and that we'll try to make that available as soon as possible.
But probably not by noon time for the local folks?
I will work hard to make it happen. And then in terms of the UCF portion of that 911 call, the 19-page report will be available. We're working to see if the audio is there and if it's recoverable. But as I said, it was transferred to the wrong line, so that's causing us problems.
And the video of him pulling the alarm, I'm guessing tomorrow at the earliest.
We'll work on it to the best of our ability.
I mean, you
That'd
said.
be very early.
Okay.
Mhm.
That checklist.
Thanks for doing that.
That checklist, would that just be a picture?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Let's go.